Today on Down to the Wire, stepping into the spotlight, individual players take their game to the next level in an attempt to push their teams through to the conference final of the Stanley Cup Playoffs. Today is Thursday, May 8, 2014. I'm Shawn and this is Andrés, and this is episode 17 of Down to the Wire. And it's almost time for conference finals. Well, not almost, but teams are really pushing, and individual players have been stepping up to the plate. Let's just start with Chicago versus Minnesota. And how do you see this playoff series breaking down so far?
Well, Chicago right now with the 2-1 lead. Minnesota surprisingly taking the Avs out, the top-seeded team in the West. What was a hot start for the Avalanche was taken out by Minnesota's stepped-up play. So far, not the same success against Chicago, though. Chicago is proving to be just as tough as the Avalanche was, and so far it's working out for them.
Yeah, but not to mention that the Colorado Avalanche did have a 2-0 series lead, just like Chicago did when Minnesota came back and won the series. So don't count Minnesota out yet, especially since they got a 4-0 win in Game 3. So Minnesota's getting a battle, and they're not going to go away easily. As I thought that they would be swept, actually, the way things were going. Chicago is just playing amazing. Crawford, amazing. All those big players for Chicago are stepping up, but there was no sign of that in Game 3. And Brizgalov played amazing, got the shutout, and now things are just starting to pick up. Let's move on to the Kings and Ducks, and in this one, surprisingly, well, maybe not as surprisingly the way they finished off their first series, but LA up 2-0 on the Ducks in this series, and it's kind of the Kings of old, I guess.
Yeah, the Kings, another team that I didn't expect to get through the first round. We thought that was going to be a close series. It didn't look like it with the way the Sharks played the first couple of games. But then the Kings turning around 180 degrees.
Yeah, is it possible for the Sharks to choke underwater? Yeah.
all aspects of their game. Jonathan Quick, just fantastic in the last 3 games. Nothing like the first 4. And yeah, their defense as well. And the Ducks, who I thought were going to make it all the way to the finals, in a tough spot now, having lost both of their home games and headed to LA down 2-0.
And there goes everyone's playoff bracket.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kopitar, everyone on the Kings has stepped up completely. It's been an amazing series, Game 3 kicking off tonight at 10 p.m. You never know. I'm not going to count the Ducks out yet, but if they go down 3-0 to the Kings, and if the Kings do get past the Sharks, I will not be surprised if they end up winning the Cup, because this is a Kings team that has been through this before, and they battle. Drew Doughty, they have those star players that are capable of taking them all the way to win the Cup, so I'm not going to count the Kings out, but I wouldn't count the Ducks out either.
It's another series that we expect to be close, and like you said, like we said at the beginning, individual guys stepping up. You mentioned Kopitar, he's now leading the playoffs with 14 points. But yeah, the whole team really waking up after that extremely poor play in the first couple games of the playoffs. Let's move over to the East. The Bruins and the Canadiens. Yet another unexpected turnout here. 2-1 for the Canadiens. Again, here I thought Boston would be ahead at this point in the series, but still early. Boston did get that 1 win at home, so it should be interesting. Rask playing pretty well, but it hasn't been enough for the Bruins to take the lead in the series.
It's been a close series, with Montreal winning 4-3 in the first game. A breakdown for Montreal in the second game. They could easily be up 3-0 in this series, but they broke down in the third period. Never cut the Bruins out in the third period, and they won 5-3. But then Montreal bouncing back, winning 4-2. Carey Price has been outstanding in this playoffs, and he continues to shine even in Boston, where most people counted them out. But believe it or not, Tuukka Rask has his weakness, and I think his weakness is Montreal Canadiens, because as good of a goalie as he is, he somehow seems to can't catch a break against Montreal, and It's happened all season and again in the playoffs. And I think that the Canadiens have a true shot of taking out the Boston Bruins. And if that happens, I'm sure, well, once again, people's Eastern Conference side of the playoff bracket will be decimated as well. Because a lot of people's playoff bracket that I've seen has Boston in the finals, and so do I. So, the big players from Montreal stepping up. PK Subban, outstanding so far in this series and in the playoffs, In this series, 3 goals, 3 assists, 6 points. Amazing play, and he's really picked up and shown you why he's an elite defenseman.
Moving on to the last series, Pittsburgh and the Rangers. And Pittsburgh putting New York in a tough spot right now. New York down 3-1. And Fleury, who a lot of people criticize for his play in the playoffs, doing great so far. And yeah, he's been one of the main reasons why the Penguins have this lead right now.
They really got the Rangers on the ropes right now, and I don't see the Rangers bouncing back in Pittsburgh. Marc-André Fleury, like you said, 2 shutouts, both those shutouts coming against the Rangers, back-to-back games. He's the first goalie to do it this postseason, and he's the first goalie in a while to do it as well. So, really, he's showing signs of the 2009 Marc-André Fleury when the Penguins won the Cup. I don't think that the Penguins will win the Cup this year, however, but they definitely have a shot at making it to the finals. And their big players somewhat stepping it up now. Crosby finally getting his first goal off his back.
Malkin doing really well as well.
Malkin as well. And Jussi Jokinen, great asset for them. 6 goals in the playoffs. He's tied with Marian Gaborik for the lead. And Brendan Sutter's playing amazing as well for them. So they've got everything working out for them right now, with Crosby finally getting some points, getting some goals. So if they can keep it up, they can push for the Stanley Cup, but I don't see them winning it.
For the Rangers, if they want to get out of this, they're going to need their guys to step up. Most notably, Rick Nash, who's been struggling a lot in these playoffs and in the playoffs in general. So he's one guy that, they're going to have to win 3 straight. It's hard as it is, but they're not going to be able to do it if guys like Rick Nash don't put the effort in.
And if Pittsburgh wins the series, you'll hear Alan Vigneault talking about how they had to play 5 games or 3 games in 5 nights. Just suck it up. It's the playoffs. That's it for today's episode. We'll be back next week with soccer. I don't know what we're going to talk about yet, but we'll find out.
Yeah, there's not going to be any Champions League, so we'll have to figure that out.
Yeah, so see you guys next week. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for our videos. And